Shin-Chi's Canoe by Nicola Campbell, illustrated by Kim LaFave.
The morning sun was shining so bright, Etko had to squint. She was on her way back to the Indian residential school, and this year she wasn't alone. Shin-Chi, her younger brother, was coming too. Yaya, Mom, Dad, and baby Sheltetko, Shin-Chi and Etko were sitting together on the porch, waiting for the cattle truck that would soon pick them up.
Dad, it will be summertime when we come home. Can you please build us a dugout canoe of our own? Shin-Chi said. My dear children, don't you like paddling with me anymore? Said their dad as he pulled them close. We love paddling with you, Etko said. But we're getting way too old, and I want to learn to paddle all alone, said Shin-Chi, who was 6 years old.
Last year, on her first day at Indian residential school, Etko had been punished because she could not understand the English words. Then they cut her long braids and threw them away and washed her head with kerosene. And so that morning, before the sun rose, Etko asked, Yaya, can you cut our hair today? Afterwards, Shin-Chi, Etko, and Yaya went up the mountain to put their braids away.
When the cattle truck arrived, their dad tucked a tiny canoe into Etko's hand. My children, their mom said, with tears in her eyes, if we could, we would keep you here at home. We would never ever let you go, but it's the laws that force us to send you away to residential school.
Yaya squeezed them so tight they could hardly breathe. We'll be waiting for you to come home, she said. Then Shin-Chi and Etko climbed into the back of the cattle truck with all the children from their Indian reservation.
Dust came in the waves, getting into their eyes and their noses, until they could hardly breathe. It followed the truck like a little snake all along the valley.
My Shin-Chi, we will not see our family until the sockeye salmon return. These are the things you must always remember, Etko said, gesturing to the trees, mountains, and river below.
At night, when you go to sleep, remember the tug of the fish when you and Dad pulled the nets in and we made smoke and wind-dried salmon. Shin-Chi could not help himself. He looked at everything. The mountain with the trail that led to the caves, the deer in the field by their house. He memorized every fishing spot, the place where he caught the great big frog, the grasshoppers, the crickets, and the slugs, until the rattle bump of the cattle truck rocked him to sleep.
Shin-Chi was dreaming when he heard Etko say, It's time to wake up now, my Shin-Chi. When he opened his eyes it was dusk, and all he could see was the dark silhouette of the church steeple. Remember, my English name is Mary. Your English name is David, and don't forget, we aren't allowed to talk to each other until next June. Etko gave him the tiny canoe that their father had made. This, my Shin-Chi, is for you. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, be careful to keep it hidden.
When they got off the truck, the priests and sisters said, Juniors and intermediates, stand single file in separate lines. Boys, stand here, girls, stand over there. Then, single file, they marched inside.
That night, in the junior girls' wing, Etko wondered if her Shin-Chi was okay. He was used to sleeping near his sisters. He had never slept alone. Down the hall, in the junior boys' wing, Shin-Chi lay in the bed awake. He held his tiny canoe safely in his hands. The sweet scent of cedar smelled just like his dad. Dad said the spring salmon come up the river first, then the sockeye come in the summertime. That's when we can go home again. Finally, he drifted off to sleep.
They went to Mass once each day. That's where they learned how to pray. For half a day they worked. The other half they went to school.
The girls did the cooking, cleaning, knit mitts, and scarves. And they laundered and sewed everyone's clothes. The boys learned how to farm, do carpentry, and blacksmithing. And 3 times a day all the children went outside to play, in wind, rain, hail, or snow.
In the dinner hall, the boys and girls sat on opposite sides of the room, brothers and sisters not allowed to talk to one another. They made up sign language to say hi or I miss you. For breakfast, the children ate porridge and burnt toast. Through the doors, they could see their teachers carrying steaming plates of bacon, eggs, and potatoes from the farm. For lunch, they ate thin soup, and dinner was hard buns with stew. For dinner, the teachers had meat, vegetables, and corn.
The children were never given enough food.
When autumn was over and winter arrived, the days were short and weather was cold. Shin-Chi was lonely and he was hungry. He missed his mom, his dad, and Yaya. He missed Etko and baby Shultetko too.
He snuck out the back door and ran to the river nearby his school. He stood there with his tiny dugout canoe.
Shin-Chi could not help himself. He looked at everything. He listened to each crystal snowflake that danced down from the sky and fell on his face. He breathed the cool breath of winter until the land was covered in a blanket of fresh snow. Finally, when the eagle song echoed through the valley, traveling just beyond reach, he sang his grandfather's prayer song, and his voice echoed from mountain peak to mountain peak. Shin-Chi placed his canoe in the river, knowing the current would carry it safely home.
Then Shin-Chi made a friend. His English name was John, little mischief times 2. They learned how to steal food. In the orchards they found apples. In the road cellar, carrots and potatoes. To their delight, one day they discovered preserved cherries, only to realize that they had black olives instead.
Early one morning, when spring had finally set in, Etko snuck down to the river. To her surprise, she heard her grandfather's song. Shin-Chi, was already there with his fishing line. "I'm checking to see if the sockeye salmon are here," he said in deep concentration. "Not yet, my Shin-Chi, but they will come."
When the sockeye finally swam up the river, the dust rose around the cattle truck like a great big butterfly that followed them all the way home. Shin-Chi could hardly wait. Etko, he asked over and over again, "How much longer till we get home?" "Little mischief, we'll get there soon," Etko said, with sparkles in her eyes.
When the cattle truck arrived at last, their mother and Yaya ran to greet them. "Oh, my grandchildren, we missed you," Yaya said, squeezing them tight. "Your dad is in the woodshed," said their mom, as she hugged them too. This time she had tears of happiness in her eyes.
Etko and Shin-Chi ran as fast as they could all the way to the woodshed. There they found their dad carving them their very own dugout canoe.